Welcome in, everyone, to Flyover Footy. My name is Matt Baker. Thank you so much for joining us on what ends up being the first midweek episode of Flyover Footy early on in preseason. After a period of time where nothing seemed to happen, everybody was getting anxious, the vibes were kind of up and down. We have a lot going on. The floodgates have opened this week. We have a preseason roster. We have a signing. We have a handful of new players that we don't really know about. But on this episode of Flyover Footy, we're going to focus on the opening of camp. A lot of time in this episode is going to be spent hearing from the folks that matter the most. We're talking a big interview with center back Timo Baumgartl that'll kick everything off. We have some quotes and interviews from the media scrum on Monday featuring Yoann Demat, new head coach for St. Louis City, as well as captain and goalkeeper Roman Bürki and vice captain center attacking midfielder Marcel Hartel. Some quick housekeeping really quick. This show is going to focus on the opening of camp, but we're also going to be looking ahead to later this week, where we'll be diving in to not just the opening of camp, but more specific things like deep dives on some of the things that Demet and Bürki have said, the preseason schedule itself, rumors and news on a full episode of Flyover Footy that will air probably Thursday night into Friday. But I wanted to kind of level set things for this episode because we do have a full slate of hearing directly from a lot of these players and from Yoann Demat himself. But also, I want to kind of preview a little news report that I did for Instagram, just a few minutes, that addressed the first day of camp. That will have kind of the full preseason roster breakdown and all of that. But before we get to camp itself, there is a little bit of important news that I just can't get by this episode without going into. And that is the fact that St. Louis City has officially announced the acquisition of their first signing in the Corey Ray era. The first new player to St. Louis City is Daniel Edelman from Red Bull, New York. And St. Louis acquired Daniel Edelman. It was announced on Tuesday for $500,000 in 2026 general allocation money and $200,000 in 2027 GAM. Red Bull New York could also receive another $150,000 in conditional GAM if certain performance metrics are met. Red Bull will retain a percentage of any future sale or trade from Edelman. And for these performance metrics, if you're not familiar with how MLS works with this, it's usually pretty obvious. It's appearances, starts, goals, some kind of stats that they work in. But basically, the more Edelman plays, the more likely it is that St. Louis will give that extra $150,000. But for all intents and purposes, right now, we're saying that St. Louis acquires Daniel Edelman, 22-year-old central defensive midfielder from Red Bull, New York, for $700,000 in GAM. Sporting director Corey Ray had the following to say in the press release of this announcement. Daniel is a ball-winning, high-intensity midfielder whose addition will bring even more competition to our midfield group. He has played significant MLS minutes despite his young age and has shown maturity in his performances. We believe he can continue to develop and take another step at this level. We are looking forward to welcoming him to St. Louis as we continue to build out our roster with talented players. Now, some quick info on Daniel Edelman. Edelman is, like I said, a central defensive midfielder. He is 5'10", 160 pounds. His only team that he's played for is Red Bull New York. He came up through their system, signed with Red Bull 2, and then was signed to a homegrown contract by Red Bull New York, then known as New York Red Bulls. Yeah, it's a silly kind of slight rebranding in the Red Bull philosophy. Originally signed as a homegrown, Edelman was in 2021. He has recently signed a second contract of sorts, the first post-homegrown contract. He does not take up a U22 slot. That is huge for St. Louis to know that they still retain the flexibility to sign either one DP or one U22 given this signing. Edelman in his career in Major League Soccer has played 8,111 minutes, and he's just 22 years old. He has 104 games played, 94 of those having started, including both regular season and the playoffs, where Edelman did feature in the MLS Cup playoff final for Red Bull New York a couple of years ago. He has, among other stats, 262 tackles and interceptions and 129 clearances, both in the regular season. Important because he profiles as an out-and-out destroyer. I took a look at Daniel Edelman on X or Twitter a few days ago when the news broke that we would be signing him. He is on a $465,000 salary, no special designations, like I said. His current contract, which St. Louis will basically take over, goes through 2027 with an option for 2028. So get used to Edelman. We have him for at least the next 2 years. Circumstances at New York on why they moved on from him, Well, I'll touch on a lot of this, but I just want to get kind of out in front of Daniel Edelman because we're going to hear from him later this week at some media availability on Thursday. So I will hopefully have some quotes from him. But Red Bull New York is in the middle of a transition themselves. They have a new sporting director. They have a new head coach. Julian de Guzman is their sporting director, and Michael Bradley, nobody should be unfamiliar with that name, is their new head coach. And so they're kind of overhauling their roster as it is. Edelman is a fan favorite, is a Red Bull lifer. He grew up in the New Jersey area. He profiles, as I said, like a destroyer, an out-and-out number 6. Very strong defensively, supportive in front of the back line. History suggests that his strongest work comes in the middle third of the field while working in the Red Bull New York system. He stops attacks. He clears the ball, but he's not historically strong on the ball. So his best work typically comes against the ball, allowing others to progressively build into the final third. The stats all come from the Red Bull New York system, so we're taking it a little bit with a grain of salt until we see how he profiles and plays in a Yoann Demat system, whether it be with 2 center backs or 3 center backs. There's a lot of interesting things we're going to get into later on Flyover Footy later this week in some projections and how we see him fitting into the roster and the formations that we might see him in. But while he's not a ball carrier or a driver of the attack necessarily, how he connects with our fellow midfielders, an Edelman-Leuven midfield, for instance, that could feed families, how he could alternate with Chris Durkin, depending on how Yoann Demat rolls those two out. There was a beep test performed on Tuesday at training that kind of really gets into how quick players are and how fast that they can run. And the strongest performers in those at the end of the day for St. Louis was Chris Durkin and Daniel Edelman, if that tells you anything. And yes, Edelman is in training with St. Louis City right now. That's exciting news. Edelman, in addition, a couple accolades before I move on. He was named to the MLS 22 under 22 list in 2023 and 2024. And he was the youth national team captain of the U20s at the 2023 FIFA U20 World Cup, in addition to featuring with the U16s, U20s, and U23s on the youth national team level. A lot of exciting accolades that Edelman has built up into before arriving in St. Louis. So we're excited to see what he can offer. And he is in training, like I said, and he'll go with the team to Florida. So we will get to see him in action in preseason. Very excited to see that. Now from there, let's go to an initial report that I put out on Instagram after day 1 of camp. This will get you everything you need to know about the preseason roster that St. Louis has, as well as the designation. So there's trialists, there's academy players, and I'll catch you on the other side. Welcome everyone to Flyover Footy. My name is Matt Baker. Thank you so much for joining us. Day 1 of city training in 2026. The first day of preseason camp is in the books. We saw 30 players, we saw 26 players of a 30-man roster that was named compete today, train, take the field, and for the first time under new head coach Yoann Demat. A lot of footwork drills, a lot of small field, a lot of strength training, honestly. And we heard from Yoann Demat, Roman Bürki, and Marcel Hartel. One of the key themes that Yoann Demat talked about was flexibility, getting to know the team, instilling some fundamentals and principles. He declined to name a formation. I know that's been on a hot topic on what kind of formation Yoann Demat would be running. He declined to name a formation, talked about flexibility in whatever underlying structure that they have. Roman Bürki was very offering pleasantries to the goalkeeping core. I'll name a few here in a minute. Talked about it's good to have the boys back and all kinds of positives going into camp. The vibes were high, essentially. Marcel Hartel talked about loving playing under Yoann Demat, the fundamentals he's trying to instill on the ball work. A lot of positives from Marcel Hartel. He feels at home in this system so far after just 1 day, and it is vastly early, so there's a whole lot left to be determined by the players and understood and implemented from the staff. But really quick, I wanted to talk about the roster because there were 30 players named on this roster so far. We have, and I'm going to list them all, Jaziel Orozco, Falou Fall, Josh Yarrow, Timo Baumgartl, Celio Pompeu, Miguel Perez, Marcel Hartel, Chris Durkin, Tyson Pierce, Brendan McSorley, Klaus Leuven, Cedric Choyshert, Thomas Totland, Kyle Hebert, Mackay Joyner, Simon Betcher, Caden Glover, Songbin Zhang, Tomas Olstrock, Zach Lillington, Cooper Forcellini, Palmer Alt, Lucas McNaughton, Alex Junt, Evan Carlock, Roman Bürki, Ben Lunt, Colin Welsh, and Lucas McPartlin. Now, those bottom few names, important to look at. It's not just returners from City last season. We have 2 trialists, Palmer Alt, who was at Indiana University, a forward. He was drafted by the Colorado Rapids but was not signed. And we have Lucas McNaughton, who is a 30-year-old defender, formerly of the Colorado Rapids. And Lucas McNaughton is the only MLS experienced trialist on camp. There's 2 trialists. We have 3 academy products, Alex Junt, Evan Carlock, and Lucas McPartlin. Lucas McPartlin is the goalkeeper. Evan Carlock is a forward, and Alex Junt is a midfielder from the City Academy. Those 3 help round out the roster as it exists today. No new signings have been announced by St. Louis City. Neither of the rumored players who we've talked about this past weekend were with City in training. So the 30-man roster is set. Now, there were 4 players who were not with City. Cedric Schweicher, Thomas Totland, Kyle Hebert, and Thomas Olstrock were not training today. Load management is the word. We'll have more throughout the week. We've been told by the club that they hope to have everybody ready to go in Florida. Just coming into camp in different shapes, different muscle groups being targeted, and just wanting to make sure that everybody starts training healthy, fully fit. That's the report for day 1 of training camp. We'll have more updates throughout the week. We hope to talk to Timo Baumgartl later this week, as well as another conversation with head coach Yoann Demat later this week before the team goes to camp in Florida. For Flyover Footy, my name is Matt Baker. Thank you for joining us, and we'll talk to you later. Welcome back to studio. Couple quick notes on that. That was right after training, 0 prep time, so forgive me. I did get a couple things wrong on that. For instance, a couple players. Lucas McNaughton deserves a little touting there. I referred to him as from Colorado. He's from DC United. He's had a path that we'll talk about in just a second. So let's look a little bit at Palmer Alt and Lucas McNaughton, because those are the 2 names, non-academy players, but I want to make sure that we know who they are heading into the rest of the week. Palmer Alt in particular let's start with Lucas McNaughton. Lucas McNaughton, trialist in camp, 30-year-old, 6'1", right-footed center back. McNaughton has a huge journey that took him from Belgium with youth to Toronto FC. He had to stay with Pacific FC in the Canadian Premier League at age 24. Moved to Toronto in 2022. Was called up to the Canadian men's national team that year as well, before being traded to Nashville in 2023 for CJ Sapong and $200,000 in GAM. Nashville picked up his option that year before trading him to DC United ahead of the 2025 season for $150,000 in GAM. And then after that, DC United declined his option this past offseason. McNaughton profiles as a ball-winning center back. He's comfortable playing out of the back. He has strong comparables in winning duels, tackling, and blocking. But the thing that makes Lucas McNaughton kind of noteworthy here is his injury history. When he was with Nashville in April 2024, McNaughton suffered a severe thigh injury that required surgery, ended his season in 2024 after just a handful of games, and then he was picked up by DC United for 2025, where he also missed significant time dealing with recurring thigh issues. So to me, the biggest question with Lucas McNaughton, the 6'1", right-footed center back, 30 years old, is not necessarily his talent, because my good friend Ben Wright, who covers Nashville and American soccer all across the board, 619 Soccer, isn't whether he's a starting caliber center back, because the healthy Lucas McNaughton, he said, is a starting caliber center back. The problem is whether he's going to be healthy. That's the thing that we need to see in preseason. So McNaughton was on something similar to a $125,000 salary last year. It was low. So this has nothing but upside to me. I'm excited to see what Lucas McNaughton has to offer, because he could provide some semblance of an answer to another center back spot, whether it's Lucas McNaughton and Zach Lillington that end up taking hold of those other center back spots to start the season, or we sign somebody else. McNaughton rather has the potential. So I think that's one of the most exciting things to me on why it's worthwhile to pay attention to Lucas McNaughton. Now, with the other trialist, Palmer Alt. Palmer Alt is a 5'10" forward from Indiana who spent about 3 years at Butler, drafted by Colorado in the 2025 Super Draft in the second round, like I mentioned, where he then went back to college, finished his career at Indiana, where he had 15 goals and 7 assists in 14 games played. Alt earned numerous accolades in his senior year at Indiana, including Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year, a unanimous first-team All-Big Ten, and a Mac Hermann Trophy midseason watch list. After going back to college, Alt was, made available somehow this past season. So we look forward to seeing what Alt can offer in the attacking end, where with McNaughton, we look more defensively. That said on our roster, we will be getting a host of more information later this week on breaking down everything that we know, deep diving and speculating more. But on this midweek episode, we usually love to get into interviews. So if you haven't tuned into a midweek flyover before, we're going to get into some interviews now. I had the opportunity after Tuesday's training to interview Timo Baumgartl, center back, who is a new dad, newly welcoming a child, had a magnificent offseason, all things considered, especially off the field. So without further ado, here is my interview with Timo Baumgartl. And again, I will catch you on the other side of this. Timo Baumgartl, thanks for joining me on Flyover Footy. How was the offseason? I know you celebrated the birth of a child. Congratulations. Talk to us about the offseason.
I mean, I stayed in St. Louis the first time I stayed where I played for the whole off-season. Our baby was born on Thanksgiving Day, so that's a nice timing. Actually, I was 6 weeks at home helping my wife. I mean, you can see maybe my eyes a little bit. I'm looking a little bit older, all the wrinkles now. A little tired, less sleep than ever, but yeah, we're happy. Firstborn, yeah. So yeah, we're adapting now to the new situation. It's nice. I'm coming home. He starts smiling now, so that's actually a fun thing.
Fantastic. So you stayed in St. Louis. Did you take the newborn out anywhere? Did you mostly stay in? Any fun restaurants?
I mean, the first couple of days you stay at home. Afterwards, I meet with the guys who were here, like Simon, Cello were here after 3 weeks in Germany. So we met each other. We did something together. So that was nice, celebrating New Year's Eve together. That was actually nice. And then we went for a 5-day to Lake Osaka, just a little bit to get the head off. Yeah, that was actually my off season.
So coming off of last season, how long did it take to kind of decompress afterwards? Was there a period of evaluation on the field work after the season ended, or did you kind of just go straight into off-season mode?
I mean, I'm always preparing myself already for the new season. So in terms of watching videos, what I can do better, talking to coaches, talking to Greg on a mindset base. That's important for me to get like an evaluation of the last season, to see where I can improve. It was my first season MLS, so it's quite a difference to Europe how the style of playing is. So that was important. That's always I do like for the first 10 days, and then I shut my mind off, and then going to off season. Then my baby was born, or so. Actually, that's what happened. But I'm always the type of guy to prepare in the first 10 days for the new season, get the old season done, and then looking forward.
I'm sure with a newborn, it seemed like there was a short off season. Didn't have a whole lot of downtime.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know how many hours I slept, but it's different now. Life is different at home,
Yep.
So it's nice. But I think the days they pass by so fast. So that's actually a little bit sad, but also you're happy to be back to train on the pitch. That's what you love to do, and I'm happy to be here back and train with a new coach, with the new ideas. It's actually fun.
Well, you mentioned your first season in MLS was last year. What is your evaluation of last season? I mean, not to boil it down to a few sentences, but like, what do you take away from last season, both the good and the bad?
I mean, it was a difficult season for all of us. I mean, in terms how we played, in terms what results we get, we're getting better at the end. But for me, it was an adapting season to see how the style of playing is, because I have the feeling that's more up and down than in Europe. Europe is more tactical behavior. Here's more athletic, more counter-attack, so I need to adapt on that. That's different spaces to defend, that's different spaces to play into. And yeah, gonna prepare for the new season with new coach, with a new type of playing, which is actually fun to do. Yeah, that was my result for the season.
So how do you feel you evolved with your center back partnership? I mean, obviously different coaches throughout the season, but you're coming into the season now as one of, I would say, the top 2 center backs on the roster, right? You and Phill Grooms, veterans from last season, at least a little bit with the team. So how's that chemistry going? I know it's early, but what did you take away from last season as far as the back line goes?
We had a lot of changes. We had a lot of different systems. Now we are preparing for a new system. So I think me as a veteran player now, older player, experienced player, trying to help everyone, trying to help as well Phill. He has also an adapting season last season, so I'm trying to help him with my experience, all the young guys. I spoke also to the new guys. if there's anything, then helping. I think it's part of my nature to take a leadership role. That's important for me, and helping all these guys, because I think I experienced a lot in my career, ups and downs.
On the field and off.
Off the field, so I can give these guys something. And on the field, I want to show my experience, I show my quality. That's the most important thing, and lead this team with the other guys to a more successful season.
Your style of leadership. Are you a vocal person on the field? How do you handle yourself?
Depending on emotions, I think. I would say I'm not a natural guy, like the body language. I can do that, but not as much. I'm not a screamer, but I'm talking to guys one-on-one. That's important for me, and trying to coach the guys around me. That's important for me as a backline, especially as a center back. You have responsibility for the whole backline. That's important. Trying to figure out how we can be successful. That's what I'm thinking about. So that's part of my role now. Last season I was the new guy here. Coming out from experience in Schalke, where it was not the best one, so I needed to adapt. But now I know all these guys, and you can ask these guys. I'm a guy who talk a lot, but not always loud.
So coming into this season, Yoann Demat, new head coach, can you tell us the first kind of conversations you had with him? Because he kind of made it a big deal that he called all the players. So what was that like, the first conversation?
I mean, we had the conversation about the newborn baby, because he has also a son, give me some advice. But he called everyone, which is actually nice, because you get a feeling as a player before you start. It's important to get to know him as a person and as a coach. I think the first 2 days were intense, and we get some ideas what he wants to do. We get him known as a person, which is important for us to see how he is, and he get to know us, and I think we developed something here. It's a progress with a new type of playing style, but we have a long preseason ahead of us. We're going to 2 training camps. I think we're building something here, but at the end it's about what result we have. We can always say we're building something, but at the end it matters what happened on the first game day. So we're preparing, we're working hard, we're trying to be fitter than last year, trying to work out every team, and then our qualities we have, which is a lot of qualities we have in the team, we want to show. And we have some new guys, that's also nice, and we welcome them.
First couple days of camp, is there any pressure to trying to overperform or best last season, knowing the struggles that you guys had? How is that the first couple of days, or is it more, you've been through this before? You mentioned your time with Schalke. Just what's the mindset of the pressure going into the season?
I mean, as far as we didn't determine our goals for the season, so we will come out with that in public in a couple of weeks. But for us, it's like we want to be better than last year. Not putting pressure on ourselves, because we know it's a process. That's important for everyone to understand. It's a step-by-step process. We're trying to get better every day. We're trying to get the ideas of the coach on the pitch, which is important, and everyone understand their role, how they're gonna play, how they move in this system. And if we understand that, that will be the progress. I think we will not be on our best at the first game, which is normal, but we're gonna progress over the first couple of weeks. And then we're trying to be better, and trying to show our fans, show the league that we are a good team. And that's I think our goal for the season. Yeah.
What are you most looking forward to heading to Florida?
I mean, the weather is nice here, actually.
It's nicer than it was last year, right?
I mean, we went last year to Florida, and everyone said to me, like, it's awesome there, but it rained the whole training camp. So, Florida, I mean, I went there one time. It was nice. I love being in training camps with all the guys. Being on them with one-on-one or with them in groups. We go, and sometimes went to bowling or something together, which is actually nice. I get a couple of hours sleep more than at home, which is also actually a good fact.
Kind of good and bad.
Yeah,
away, though, right?
I'm missing these 2. I will missing those 3 actually with my dog. But on the other hand, it's a nice part of the season to prepare, to be around with all the guys. We're looking forward to Coachella, because we found there our coffee spot, which is the best one there.
Nice.
So we're happy about that. We're going back there as well. But it's an intense time. It's a it's a chance to work intense on different parts off the pitch and on the pitch, and think if we use that time wisely, we're gonna have a big progress.
Awesome. Timo, one last question. So you wore number 32 last year. Sometimes players switch numbers. You sticking with the 32 this year?
I mean, I really don't care which number I have. So if I have 32, 5, 6, 7, I don't think Cello gives me, or Edu gives me the 10. I don't know if I'm gonna take this. But
well, I mean, are you looking to score any goals this year, though?
I'm trying to. And last year, no goal. That's actually impossible.
You moved up there a little bit last season.
I mean, I played one game as a striker when I was a changing player. So I'm looking forward to the season. I have big goals ahead. I want to score more goals, but I don't think I'm not scoring enough goals for getting the 10.
All right, Teemo Baumgard, awesome. Thanks for joining me. That was my interview with Timo Baumgartl. I hope you enjoyed that. From here on out, we get back to media scrum interviews with Yoann Demat, Roman Bürki, and Marcel Hartel. I hope you enjoy these. And if you stick around past these, I will see you on the other side to close things out. Thank you for joining us on Flyover Footy. If you decide to tune out after this, but I'll see you on the other side.
The people that are going to be joining us on that journey, meaning the players, meaning the staff, laying out a little bit the journey in terms of like the style, in terms of like the methodology, how we're going to work, and at the same time speaking about their expectation from me and my expectation from them, and how we're going to collaborate and work together for the season ahead.
What do you say about your expectations from them?
Today is very simple. Work hard, be open-minded and coachable, try, get out of your comfort zone, and we're going to do great things. Like, we're going to build things. It's going to be a process. So today is more about that. Like, make sure like we step into that preseason with an open mind and work really hard.
What do you hope to take away from this week, this foundational week?
It's gonna be like a 6 weeks preseason. It's not only this week, but I'd say like we had to go with priorities. So I wanted them today not to go into testing first. I wanted them to get that feeling back with the ball, being back out with their teammates. So that was the most important. Like for the week, it's more getting to connect with the players, understand who they are on the pitch, off the pitch, and how we're gonna be able to work together. So I'd say like we're touching at the very base level like of what we want to do, but we have to start at the right place and not too high.
Yoann, I think you mentioned that in the press conference when we got introduced to you the first time in St. Louis, coachability. It seems really important to you. You said it here earlier. Do you find that that's a difficult thing to see on the pro level where these guys have come so far in their careers but still yet need to be open to your ideas and new ways of doing things?
I don't think it's difficult to find. I think you have to remind the guys that we can get better every day of our life. Like, it doesn't matter the age. That was my message this morning. I can get better, players can get better, staff can get better, and we're there for each other to make each other better. So like that's more the message. I don't think it's hard to find. I think the guys are naturally like that, but it's just like there is a lot of emotion in the game. There is a lot of like feelings. So of course when you get like annoyed at things or frustrated like with like your team today or conceding goals, like you go back to your personality and maybe to your shell instead of like keeping an open mind of like this is part of the process. And that's what also I spoke about, like making mistake and getting out of their comfort zone is part of that process.
Now that you've had some time as head coach and you've got to know the players and what you have, how do you feel about your current roster?
Yeah, again, the roster is like there is some element we've identified that can improve, that we're working with Corey. Like, I like the group of players. I think there is a good mindset within the squad. I think there is also that willingness to get better and improve. We're discussing and working very closely with Corey to make improvements to the team. And as you know, it's going to be like everything, a process. Like, we just came in like quite late in 2025, so we got to lay the foundation of what those processes are going to be, and then we're going to make the move when time comes.
Are there areas on the pitch that you think the team needs to improve when you look at the roster construction?
I think every team needs to improve in every area, so I'm more looking at like every areas. I also wanted to start today with an open mind. I know the team from like watching clips of the players, but also like the team. I didn't want to come in today with like a mindset on like what the players are, are they good, are they not, like are they fitting, are they not. I wanted to actually see them in training. That's why also preseason is going to be amazing. It's going to be a good discovery and integration phase, like I mentioned to the guys this morning, and then that can help us answer those questions as well.
What do you expect to learn about yourself too, knowing that this is the first full-time manager position for you as well?
That's a very good question. You actually like learn in all sorts of challenges. Like I think it's more like about the connection with the players and the relationship we can establish. The standards we want to lay for them, for ourselves. So I think again, that word process, I don't want to repeat it too often, but it's also for us as a staff in terms of how we want to work, how we want to lead as a group, and how I want to lead also like as an individual. So I think I learned a lot. Like I mentioned, like the players have to want to get better every day. I also want to get better every day, So it goes with like getting feedback from the staff, getting feedback from the players, but also looking at myself and how I can help the club move forward.
Can I ask you what you thought of the city here now that you've had month or so?
I've got only great things to say. Like since I arrived, the weather's been amazing. Like the people have been amazing. Like of course, like I'm still staying at the hotel for now, so like spend a little bit of time in a restaurant as well. The food scene is very good. So no, it's been amazing. I was telling my wife a couple of days ago that I'm excited for what's ahead with the club, but I'm also excited for the city and the environment we'll have as a family.
The guys who weren't out there today, do you have Totland, Hebert, Ostrak? How soon do you expect them back?
We don't have a time frame for those guys. Again, everybody's like at a different level. Like it's also why like getting all those guys back in the building is so important. Then we can evaluate. We can see like everybody's got different plans. Everybody like had also different off season. So having that understanding will help us like have a clear plan for them like moving forward in preseason. Hopefully we can get everybody fit and healthy like as quickly as possible, but again it's part of the game.
Coach, obviously you have a plan in your head of how you want this team to play, attack and defend, but how much of what you see in these early days maybe changes what you had in your head before getting here?
There is a clear plan of what we want to do. I think the plan is not going to change. This is going to be the plan. There is always slight adjustments that you can make based on like the player profile, based on personality maybe, on what the guys feel comfortable doing or not. The plan is there. Today is day one. We've got 28 training sessions. Today was the first one of them before the first week of the season. And again, there is no limit. We spoke about that this morning with the group. I think there is only the limit you put for yourself. So that's the way I want me, the staff, and especially the players to approach this new season.
Obviously, formations are nowadays fluid within games, but do you have a preferred formation that you see going out with here?
I think we will have a lot of flexibility. Of course, you need to start with a structure. I think from structure comes freedom. So can we have a structure to start, like, of course, pre-season? But again, like, there is nothing set in stone. I think it's also like depending of like the profile of the players, what we're gonna see. But along the line, I want us to be flexible. Again, the game is very different, very dynamic. Teams are changing, teams are adjusting. So we need to have answers for those problems that the opposition could create. And pre-season is a good start to lay the foundation of that as well.
Do you like a 4-2-3-1?
I like the 4-2-3-1 as much as I like any other system. Like it's without the context, it's difficult for me to speak about like a set formation. Again, formation I think is more a way for people to feel better about like having clarity in terms of things. We won't speak too much about that. We'll speak more about the number of players we want to be involved on the build-up, the number of players we want to attack with, how we want to defend, and the concept of it. So right now I don't want to get attached to a structure or a formation.
The team went through like a lot of changes last year, but over the second half of the season, Marcel Hartel was very involved and had a lot of great numbers because of that. Was that something that you're looking at, like looking back, looking forward, and something you want to utilize again this year?
For sure, like Marcel has a lot of qualities. Like I think our forward, the players up front have a lot of qualities. Can we use that to our advantage? I mentioned that like I want to be a proactive team. I want us to create like many opportunities. I want us to be on the front foot. So for sure, having guys that have been performing like in the last part of the season will help also like start. But again, it's just a matter of like understanding each other, what can player bring in certain position or in others, and then like finding that chemistry like within the team.
Has having a few holdovers from last year's coaching staff kind of helped soften the landing a little bit for you?
It's always like in every club there is good people. You need to, like when you arrive, of course, you want to have people around you that you can trust, that know you, that know of you, that have worked with you in the past, which I bring here like with me, and it's very important. But of course, you need to rely on the people like in the club. Like there's a lot of competencies. There is also good people that are there, and I want to include them in that project. You know, so like I think it was very important to create a balance. That being said, we spoke also about being present, looking at the now and focusing on what we can do now to be better in the future.
Coach, can you tell us a little bit more about your assistant coaches you brought in?
Yes, so David and I go way back. We started coaching at the same time, like when we were quite young, like around 16, 17. For David, we've took the same path of coaching. He's someone that on the tactical side, on the training side, will bring a lot to the table. He's like a great mind, like in terms of how he sees the game. Marcelo brings like a ton of experience as a player, as a former player. He brings like unique insights in terms of the game, in terms of like the players and his relationship. So I think he'll be like a big add-on on that side. And of course, like with a track record of winning, you also want to bring that winning mentality like within the staff and within the club. So fully like starting with Corey, myself, having a guy like Marcelo, having some other people on staff that have experienced that in the past and know how to replicate it and what it takes, I think is very important.
Thanks, Coach. Roman, how was your off season?
It was good.
Anything special?
Horseback riding in the water.
Cool.
That was special.
Back in Switzerland or somewhere else?
Yeah. No, I think the water is frozen in
cold,
Switzerland at the moment. And Turks and Caicos.
All right.
Yeah, that was nice.
Well, first day with a new coach. You've been through this before, but how were things out there today?
Good. You know, like you said, that's not the first time, and obviously today the energy was great. You know, everybody wants to show what he can, and that's good. But it will show later. You know, during the season or during the preseason, who's actually going to keep going, and the ones who do, they're going to be rewarded.
How do you want to set the tone?
I mean, as always, I just try to be an example, give everything on the training field, show emotions. I think that's what the coach also wants, and he also talked about this morning. They're going to hold people accountable, and not only him, also the assistant coaches, which is what is very important for us, that we are setting the standard high and keeping it high.
Anything different about Yoann's style from?
It's hard to say right now after the first training session. Definitely, he has a plan how he wants to play, and I think there are some things that are going to be new to us, to some of the players, and but I'm pretty sure he has a great way to communicate and make it very clear how to play.
Mm-hmm. Have you spent a lot of time with him? Or he's only been here like 10 days.
I talked with him over the phone a few times in holiday, and actually yesterday was the first time I saw him in person. Yeah.
What can you say about Hartel's leadership as well, getting that nod to be able to help lead this team with you?
I mean, that's something we expect from a player that with his quality that comes from the Bundesliga or the second Bundesliga. He's a leader in the team. He has experience, but so do others. You know, like it's not him, it's not only me. It's like we need at least 10 leaders on the field when we play a game. So we have a great connection. Obviously, we know each other well, so it's a good team. But also the whole leadership council is very important.
Going back to that first season, is there anything you can take from that preseason that shows that the season's going to be a success that you can kind of bring back here?
It's difficult because the situation was, we were a new team. Nobody knew what to expect. We brought in players that had to prove something, and so it's a completely different situation I mean, look, the only thing you can control is the energy you bring in, the attitude you come in, and that is going to be the decision if you're going to have success or not.
That's what you'll need to see over the next couple of weeks, just how people are bringing the energy.
Yeah, because I mean, look, after two seasons that we had now, the last 2 seasons, if somebody didn't understand what it means to the fans here, what it means to the city and everything, like we need to work our ass off, you know, to reward them and give them back for what they do for us.
That being said, what kind of early conversations have you had with Yoann to set the tone, set the standards, say we don't want what happened the last 2 years to be a repeat?
Yeah, like I said, over the phone during holiday, I talked a little bit with him. Like he was also very interested in what I think was a reason or could have been different. And for me, it was just always like being straight up and honest, not just look over things and think, it's going to get better. It will be better. It will be better. No, talk about it. And because I think in general in life, if you talk about the problem that you have or if you don't feel well, like talk about it. And communication is the most important thing for me, as a person. And I think that's the way we should approach it here too.
With the goalkeeper group, obviously you're familiar with Colin Walsh from last year, but having some of the younger guys being pulled in, how did that feel today? Just with the energy.
Oh, good. I mean, great. They're very quiet. they're looking around, learning, and that's how it should be. But we are a team that welcomes everybody, and they also had the pleasure to go through a tunnel this morning. So with that, the integration is complete.
With all the changes year by year, how does it feel for you just to have that consistency in Alex?
Yeah, for me, I think for the whole goalkeeping group, it's very important. Also, that he's constantly trying to improve as a coach and looking at different things and different exercises that we can make, because it's not easy, you know, as a goalkeeper coach to. As a goalkeeper, you're kind of used to a rhythm that you have, you know, your schedule, you do these exercises, you feel good after that, to bring in new stuff. So I think this is always his time, you know, when a new season starts, to a preseason, he brings in new exercises, fun exercises, and yeah, it's great to have him.
With this team and having not made the playoffs the last 2 years, are you eager for new players to arrive into this mix? I mean, to the group out there today is pretty much the same as you ended last year with.
Yeah, so I have trust in all the guys that are here, that we are good enough to make the playoffs. That was the same last season. Like, I never had a doubt that we are not good enough players to make a playoff. We just need some additions, maybe. Not necessarily, maybe also quality-wise, but maybe also mentality, character-wise. You know, somebody who's just a little bit different than most of the guys that we have. But as far as it is now, I have no doubt that we are not good enough to make the playoffs. So, yeah.
Does it matter to you, 4-man backline, 3-man backline? Does it?
No, I think I'm old. I played almost every formation in front of me, so it's really nothing really important to me. Mm-hmm. You know, as how I play my game. It doesn't matter if it's 3 or 4 guys in front of me.
We got time for one more? Anyone has it?
Roman, you talked about last season when you signed your contract, you talked about the plan that the front office told you about, how they want to build this team and the vision for the future. Day one of camp, do you see that, or do you see that what they talked about, there's still more that needs to happen?
I mean, we're still, like you said, it's the first day. If I promise someone I will do this something in a period of time, you have to wait until the time is over to judge, right? So the same is here. Like, obviously, we are expecting the board to do something, you know, maybe bring in 1 or 2 players. But at the end of the day, if it works out the way we have it now, they were promising, and they promised this, and they held their word. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
first day with Yoann. You've had new coaches before. This is not all that new to you. But what was it like out there today?
It was very good. Had also a good conversation before a couple of weeks ago with him. It was a nice conversation. We meet us for a coffee, and he showed me his plan. He told me his plan, how he want to play with us, how he want to train with us, what's his style with the ball, without the ball. And I have to say it's a very good structure. He looking for a lot of like little details in the game, like where you have to pass the ball, and it was a good impact, and I'm very excited.
Did it fit well with what you like to do?
Yes, 100%. It fits completely to my game.
So you're a big fan, apparently.
Yes, I am. So our conversation again was very good. I respect him a lot. He showed exactly like I see the game, and we have a good conversation about soccer, but we have also a good conversation about like private stuff, how the family is, and it was a nice meeting.
What else can you say about the plan, about what this team will look like this season?
Yeah, first he showed us today how he want to play with the ball, how he want to defend against the ball in different structures with the ball. We want to be like flexible and depends how the opponent is playing. And now we have to get it on the pitch. It's very good that we have a good preseason with all the guys with the team, and to get ready for the regular season. And now we have to see how what style of play exactly works, what fun ideas we can use.
Marcel, how much of an opportunity is there? Obviously, last year when things changed, you were in the middle of the season, you had to play games as you were kind of figuring things out. To have this complete preseason to kind of rebuild.
Yeah, this is, in my opinion, very, very important for us now that we have a lot of time to get ready for the regular season, that Yoann and also his staff has enough time to meet our team, to meet the guys, like how they are character, and to get his plan completely, that we understand it, or what his identity is, and so our preseason now, it's very important, but I'm very, very excited and looking forward for it.
Is there any different feel about this year's camp compared to last year's camp?
About the camp?
Yeah.
I mean, we fly to the same places, and so the area will be the same. It was two very good places with a lot of, the pitch was good, the food was good, the area there was very fun, very nice. So I'm looking forward for the training camp. It's every time a good time to spend time with the team, to get closer as a team. And so I'm very, very looking forward.
Cello, congratulations on vice captain. You kind of named that, but you've always kind of seen yourself as somebody that wants to help lead where you can. Is having that kind of title, is it change anything for you?
No, I'm very proud to be it, and to help the team. Also, if it's Roman not there, but I hope he will be all day on the field, and he's our captain. And even if I will not be right captain, I will be my leader to help the team as best as possible.
When you guys have had so many different coaches, do you feel like players almost want to take more on in terms of just responsibility and how things get done, and just sort of, the dynamic of the team? Yeah,
for sure. We have a lot of good character in our team to want to step out of their comfort zone, to help the team to go forward, and we don't want to look so much backwards, because we have a disappointment last season, and we have a lot of guys who want to step out and take the responsibility that the team will perform next year.
Was there, like you said, you don't want to look backward, but was it important at all to try and figure out why things went the way they did and try to address that, or you just move forward?
No, of course we analyzed the couple last season, especially now we have a new coach, so things will be different for sure. And now we have to also to look what went in the outside from the pitch. Maybe not perfect, that we can improve in all our situations on the field, off the field, to get better.
Marcel, do you have any general expectations for yourself or for the team?
From my expectation?
Yeah, for yourself.
Yeah, first I want to be a leader on the field, off the field. If I being my best version of myself, I can also be a proof that the guys be the best version on the field. That I give 100% in training. That the guys see, okay, maybe if Cello gives 100%, I have to also go 1-2 steps more, and this is what I try to do every day.
How much, with the way last year went, and it's the same people right now, I mean, how much does this team still need to bring in new help to get to where it wants to go?
Yeah, this is not my task in this club to answer. I mean, I know that Curry and also Yoann have conversation about it to bring in new guys that still work on it, and I have focus on the guys who are here, who I can influence, and we have a good basement.
I mean, you think the guys out there now are good enough to make the playoffs?
Yes, 100%.
And there you go. That's Yoann Demat, that's Roman Bürki, and that's Marcel Hartel. You probably heard some of the nuggets that we're going to be diving into later this week. If you get a chance, tune in tonight on Tuesday, or if you're listening to this on Wednesday, to my good friends at Red Smoke Rising, who are also covering that. They've got some stuff to go over and analysis on some of these comments and also some of the players. But on Flyover Footy, we will be back on Thursday evening is the plan, but definitely later this week to look at Thursday's media availability, hearing from Daniel Edelman, new signing central defensive midfielder, and much more to round out week 1 of training camp, because we are in the thick of things now as the club finishes their first week of training camp in preparation for heading to Florida and beginning their first few preseason matches. My name is Matt Baker. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Flyover Footy, and we'll talk to you later.